Maplewood Richmond Heights School District Board of Education meeting to order at 7 o'clock p.m. If we could all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And next up, we have public forum. Thank you. All right, and just as a friendly reminder to everyone, Ms. Norton will be keeping the time, and so when you hear the timer go off, that means your allotted time has expired. First up, we have Dawn Kolnaghi, please.
My reading glasses on. All right. Good evening. Dr. Jamison, members of the board, for the record, I'm Dawn Kolnaghi. I'm the building secretary at the high school. I manage the building budgets and purchase orders. I am the air traffic controller for that entire building. I thrive on consistency, but frankly, I'm seeing a massive glitch in the system. According to the MIT living wage calculator, the floor for basic survival for a single adult in St. Louis County is $22 an hour. Yet here at MRH, our lowest starting wage is $16.71 an hour. This isn't just a gap, it's a chasm. I read our website. It says MRH places a heavy emphasis on equity and social justice. I value that. I truly value equity and social justice. That's part of the reason I came here to work. But as a woman who deals with line items all day, I have to tell you, the equation does not balance. Poverty wages are an equity issue. You cannot claim to be a champion of social justice when our lowest starting wage is nearly $6 below the survival line. Food for thought, QT starts part-time clerks out at $17.07 an hour. Social justice is a paycheck that covers the rent. If you work full-time for MRH, you shouldn't need a side hustle to buy groceries. One job should be enough. When you pay below a living wage, you force staff onto public assistance. We have employees commuting 40 miles one way from Hillsborough and Jefferson County. They're paying a commuter tax and gas to show up for work. That is exploitation wrapped in a mission statement. And please don't look at the surrounding districts and say, but our wages are competitive. Since when does MRH ever aspire to be average? We are the innovators. We claim to set the standard, so let's do it. We know the money is there. We saw proof this week with the 16.25% raise proposal for bus drivers. This proves the funds are available when the board decides a group is a priority. It has been said that a budget is a moral document. It is the only place where a district's mission statement meets its reality. Right now, our budget fails the test of social justice. It claims to value equity while endorsing poverty wages. We cannot fix our culture until we fix the ledger. Let's fix the glitch with these 3 structural corrections. 1, a salary floor of $22 per hour. $22 per hour, a living wage. 2, an immediate 18.5% wage increase. This is a necessary market reset applied on top of our earned stepped increases. And correction number 3, a structural fix to the salary schedule. We demand step increases with a minimum of a 4% step. A step should be a climb. It shouldn't be a stumble. Our skills are transferable. I could take my budget skills to the private sector tomorrow. But we, the support staff, stay because we care about these students. We care about this community. But you cannot build a budget on the assumption that our loyalty will pay our bills forever. Stop being performative with MRH values. If you believe in equity, put it in the budget. If you believe in social justice, make sure the people who unlock the doors every morning can afford to live with dignity. Fix the glitch. One job should be enough. Thank you.
Next, we have Mark Bishop.
Good evening. I would like to thank the board and Dr. Jamieson for the time and leadership you dedicate to the district. I'm extremely grateful for the trust you have placed in me and for the opportunity to serve at the ECC as an educational support professional. My name is Mark Bishop, and I've been a part of MRH community my entire life. I'm a proud MRH alumnus and a parent of 2 MRH students. When my students graduate, or when my children graduate, they will represent the 4th generation of my family to graduate as MRH Blue Devils. Over the past 19 years as an ESP at ECC, I have directly served more than 400 families, and I've built strong, lasting relationships with many families that I hold very close to my heart. I'm deeply passionate about my work in Home Space 6 and throughout the district. I strive to do nothing without joy and take great pride in what I do. I show up every day for our children, embracing each new adventure alongside our youngest learners whose joy and growth make this work meaningful, and I'm extremely grateful for MRH and that I'm able to teach in the same district that I grew up in. Over the last 10 years, my salary has not kept pace with the rising cost of living, requiring me to take on multiple part-time jobs outside of MRH to support my family, and I'm not alone in this experience. Many ESPs in this district work second jobs even while exceeding their contracted hours. MRH is often described as a destination district. Families want to live here and educators want to work here. However, a destination district must also be one where its employees can afford to live and can afford to send their children to. It's time for MRH to be the district other districts look up to as the example. ESPs across our district, like every educator, work beyond our contracted hours and work and job descriptions to support students and make MRH a nurturing learning environment. We play a vital role and care deeply about this district and the students we serve, We play a vital role and care deeply about this district and the students we serve, yet our compensation does not reflect the hard work we do. I would like the board to review our job descriptions and ensure our pay reflects the responsibilities we undertake every day. As a teaching assistant at ECC in the preschool, we are required to follow licensing, accreditation, and Head Start guidelines to ensure students are properly supported every day, in addition to holding first aid, CPR, AED, and active shooter trainings and certifications. We also continue to learn and implement new curriculum, and also have the opportunity to attend multiple professional development trainings provided by the district to best support the development and growth of our youngest learners. In addition, we take on the responsibility of planning family engagement events. Finally, I urge the board to address the compensation with ESPs assume lead teacher responsibilities during absences. I have covered my coworkers' maternity leave on 2 separate occasions, working beyond contracted hours and out of my job description with no additional pay. This issue has been raised in the forum for over a year with no progress. Our alma mater begins with, "In the heart of our loved country stands the best school in the land." Those words speak not only to the pride of being a Blue Devil, but to the responsibility that comes with it. A district earns that distinction through the people who show up every day to serve its students. Being the best means valuing every educator who builds relationships, provides stability, and creates the foundations for lifelong success, especially for all of our educational support professionals. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Next, we have Heather Hanrahan.
All right, Kat, ready? Good evening. My name is Heather Hanrahan, and I'm joining you all tonight as a parent, a community member, and a voice for teaching assistants. I would like to thank Dr. Jameson, the Board of Education, for the opportunity to share our thoughts and wonderings with you tonight. I would like to thank the current administration for continuing to support the support staff to ensure we have a voice and are given the same regard as certified staff. The reason why I'm standing in front of you tonight is to continue the conversation and work intentionally to lessen the gap between TAs and teachers. We've had some good movement recently, and we would like to continue to move forward greater equality and equity with your partnership. Some examples include creating a compensation model for support staff and offering grants to those who want to earn a teaching degree. Collectively, we, teaching assistants, have been working for 10+ years on an equitable plan or system, one that would be more similar to certified teachers versus support staff. I'm not going to bore you with all the details, but I want to talk about two specific pieces. One is the job. We need to look at the inconsistencies within the TA position as it relates to job descriptions. There's two different titles going around: teaching assistant, which technically that means you're training for instructional support, and a teacher aide, which means you're not instructional, you're more clerical, and you have supervisory tasks. TAs often have more education, associate degree, or college coursework, while aides might need a high school diploma. The landscape has changed for substitute teachers, not only the pay, but the requirements to become a sub. The qualifications prior to 2020 included a college degree and now only requires a high school diploma. When I started subbing in 2013, the daily rate was more equivalent to the TA's salary, making a good deal for someone to go full term for pay and benefits if the opportunity arose. Today in this new landscape, substitute requirements have lessened while the compensation has increased. Currently, subs are receiving higher compensation than TAs. They are subbing for approximately $200 to $300 more a week, totaling an additional $800 to $1,200 a month. This can also affect hiring and retraining practices, as people who are subbing do not want to apply for full-time jobs, as they can make more money subbing. With regard to the pay, there's a few inconsistencies I want to consider to look at the current salary structure with relation to our job description. Salaries over the year were higher in the mid-30s to low 40s, like 7-10 years ago. Today, the poverty level is $15,600 for one person, $32,150. I am right now making $30,000, under the poverty level. To date, we have an even greater gap now with the increase in certified teacher salaries. The landscape continues to move, and we need to move with it. Recently, we asked the community for higher compensation for teachers. This should include teaching assistants. Now is the time for Maplewood, Richmond Heights, TAs. We will compensate you accordingly. Today, we don't have a voice, protection, or a real plan to move forward. The way I see it, there are 3 ways to compensate us accordingly. The district chooses to honor or extend the same negotiations teachers have legally negotiated through contracts. Create a union among support staff to have negotiating power to ask for stuff teachers are able to ask for. Or the district makes teaching assistant positions certified, or at least recognizes all who are certified or want to get higher degrees. Let's get creative with moving money around in the budget. In closing, since I met, I'm sorry to get upset, a year ago, I've got my teaching certification, I've got my early education certification, I've got an online certification, and I'm still not making more money, and I'm still below the poverty level, and something has to change because it's not working. Thank you.
Next, we have Michaela Jackson.
My name is Michaela Jackson, and I'm an SSC teacher at MRH Middle School. I'm here to speak in support of the agenda item regarding the lease of an accessible lift-equipped school bus. My job mostly consists of teaching and case management responsibilities, but I also help plan our expeditions at the middle school. For SSD teachers, expedition planning includes things like creating visual schedules, writing social stories, delivering lessons to prepare students for a new experience, organizing adult support, and coordinating transportation. Having access to a reliable form of transportation that will allow students with mobility impairments to attend expeditions and also ride on the same bus as their peers would honor the standard of least restrictive environment and ensure that students with mobility support needs have a more equitable experience. Part of the experience of attending an off-campus expedition is time with peers and teachers on the bus. On our way to our destination, we review expectations and the learning goals of the expedition together. On the way back, students have opportunities to connect with each other about their learning and reflect on the experience that they had together. Approving the lease of an accessible bus will allow for more students to have an experience equitable to that of their non-disabled peers for off-campus learning, activities, and field trips. One of the reasons why I love working within the MRH community is our commitment to equitable and inclusive learning. Supporting this proposal demonstrates that we are a district who cares about every single child, and we live up to our commitments to the children and family we serve. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next we have Glennis Wagner.
Good evening, board members, Dr. Jameson, staff, and community. My name is Glennis Wagner. I've worked here at MRH at the middle school office as the admin assistant and registrar since May of 2022. My background is I was born as an identical twin sister. My twin sister is Janice Pyatt. She is the custodian supervisor for MRH Middle School and High School. She's worked here for about 17 years. Some of you may not know that we were born and raised on an island in the South Pacific. Not sure if you know of the island. It's called the Hawaiian Islands. Here at MRH, we value equity, justice, fairness to all. Growing up in Hawaii, especially on the island of Maui, which is known as the melting pot of the world, I am a native Hawaiian, and being born and raised in a diverse atmosphere has taught me I've learned and understood other people's cultures, traditions that have shaped my life to who I am today. I'm honestly and truly value other people's abilities and respect who they are. Growing up in a military family, we were taught respect, honor, and hard work, to always take pride in what you do. Before working at MRH, I worked as I was a single parent. I went to school. I got my degrees. I worked. I went to school full-time. I got my associate's degree, a 4-year associate's degree in 2 years, and other certificates. I raised 2 boys on my own, and I worked as a paralegal in doing litigation and personal injury and catastrophic cases. I've worked as a paralegal for 25 years. I know I am an asset to MRH, our district family. I have good relationships with my teachers, with my principal, Michael Zitzer, with the students and with the counselors. MRH is a leader in equity, justice, and fairness, and the surrounding area, and in the surrounding areas around MRH. I am here to speak about a major equity issue: fair pay for all support staff professionals. I am at the age of 62, and I am raising a grandson. Since he was 2 years old, he is 16 now. And I live in Hillsboro, Missouri, and I travel. I'm the first one in the building, and I'm the last one always to leave. I make sure that everything is done the way it's supposed to, and that everything is run smoothly. I'm not perfect, but I strive very hard. I thank God for this job that I have. But I struggle to meet the basic living. I had to move in with family just to survive. I work extra at games just to earn extra money. I'm asking the school board and Dr. Jameson to please invest in paying the support staff professionals a comparable wage. The district is a leader. We need to set the precedent on paying support staff the living wage. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Bethany Novi.
My name is Bethany Nobi. I'm an alum, high school math teacher and girls soccer coach, the MRH NEA treasurer, and bargaining co-chair. Teacher retention has been at the forefront of both the district priorities and the goals of the MRH NEA. It is not a coincidence that increases in staff retention have occurred alongside unionization efforts and the collective bargaining process. Our goals as a union are about moving forward, not backward. Our goal is not to reduce teacher benefits or compromise work-life balance. Rolling back positive changes for staff will only lead to decreased morale, a continued breakdown in trust, and more teachers leaving the district. Teacher working conditions are student learning conditions, and when staff feel valued and supported, students benefit. This is reflected in our most recent APR data. This commitment must extend not only to our certified staff, but also to the education support professionals on which teachers and the district as a whole rely on daily. Collectively, we can continue to make MRH a place where staff and students thrive. Thank you for your time and your continued support of students and staff.
Okay, last we have Jenny Sweeney.
Hello, my name is Jenny Sweeney. I am a teacher assistant in Home Space 4 at the preschool. I am here on behalf of the educational support professionals, but with a specific issue that I, as a TA, am currently facing and have faced throughout the past year. So I work under a teacher who just had her third child, which is very exciting, and I'm working under a long-term sub right now who is a certified teacher, so it's great. But in the fall, there were a lot of appointments, as you have when you, and there will continue to be a lot of appointments that a lot of us face as TAs when our lead teachers are out. When the lead teachers are out, there is a sub that comes in that we may know, may not know. And we as TAs, we take over. We do the lead teacher's job to keep the same consistency for our students. When you have 3, 4, and 5-year-olds, consistency is key, as I'm sure you guys know. I am here to ask for additional compensation for TAs when lead teachers are out, especially for planned absences. Either a set rate by the half day, full day, or additional hourly compensation. However, HR feels it is easiest to implement. Our colleagues with SSD, the TAs that work in SSD, do this currently. When a lead SSD teacher is out, the paraprofessional that works in that class will take over for a lead and be compensated additional pay. They use the same absence system frontline that we do. So it should be implementable, if that's a word. There should be a way to figure it out. If SSD can do it within the frontline system, MRH should be able to do it within the frontline system that we already pay for. Pay the substitute the TA rate, which is lower than the teacher rate, and pay the TA the difference when we're acting as a lead teacher. I understand that money is an issue. I do not envy your guys' job to figure out how to allocate the resources in a million different places. But as you have heard, TAs and educational support professionals do not feel valued and compensated fairly. And that is going to affect the quality of our lives. Clearly, I work a second job to try to make some more extra money for my family. And it is going to eventually affect the quality of work we bring into the place. You pay staff for extra work for games or whether they do theater. When they do extra work outside of their job description, you compensate them. So when TAs in the preschool do the work of a lead teacher, we should be compensated for that extra work. Thank you.
I just want to, again, thank you all for coming and sharing your thoughts with us. I know it's not easy to get up there and share, so we really appreciate hearing from you, so thank you. Next, we have the consent agenda. May I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes. I would like to, excuse me, I'd like to remove the warrant list because I mentioned in it, and I'd like to be able to vote on other consent items. So if we could move the warrant list to action items, I'd be grateful.
So it's a motion to amend the consent agenda? Is that what you're
Motion to amend the consent agenda to remove.
To move warrant list to action.
Warrant list to action.
Second. Okay. Any discussion on that? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, I'll just go ahead and make it a motion to approve the consent agenda as amended.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, next up we have student communications. Oh, no, sorry. Oh, we did it. Sorry, guys, it's been a long week. All right, student communications, we have the PAL board report. All right, I will move that to.
Hi, everybody. I'm Vera Fantasis. I'm the president of our high school principal advisory leadership board, and here's our January report. So just to go over our focuses on December and January, we met with several other principal advisory leadership boards from other schools, the ACC, the elementary, and the middle school to find district-wide patterns in our focuses. We distinguished, this was a focus for us this entire year, but distinguishing what is a school level versus a board level ask to ensure that we are prioritizing what really needs to be put before the board and what can be worked on at an administrative level with these specific schools. We continued our work on our year-long focus of a sense of belonging and asked additional follow-up questions with students from all the other schools. And we met with other student groups and we organized public forums to get as much input as possible. We met with Students for Social Justice. We organized a public forum that anyone could come to and voice their opinions on how the high school is run and their opinions on what could be changed to accurately represent student voice. A couple other things that we were focusing on, we're organizing a board public forum on March 26th, and there was one more thing that I was supposed to mention, but I forgot. We go on to the next slide. Huffman's like mapping it to me. So our first ask that we have before the board is a board Shadow a Student Day. So we discussed this, and we want the board to see what the students of MRH see and experience every day in their classes and their extracurriculars. So we were hoping to get 1 to 2 board members in each school, the ECC, the elementary, the middle school, and the high school. We were hoping to have them shadow a student all day in all of their classes and see how the classes are taught, how lunch looks like, get in the cafeteria, the classrooms, and the hallways, and just really get to see what life looks like for their students, so they can get in the weeds a little bit and see what it's like for students. So that was our first ask. That would be for our students, because students' needs and wants are based on their day-to-day experiences, and seeing what those experiences are important for governance decisions. So the actionable steps, we would plan with each school, because each school has different availability needs and students. We were hoping to get students from each principal advisory leadership board that they could follow around all day and see what their classes are like. We would use that anecdotal data from Shadow Day in conjunction with budget requests to make informed decisions for the 2026-2027 school year. And we would also need to communicate with our teachers. This is a Shadow Day, not an evaluation, so our teachers don't get too stressed out about having board members in their classrooms. Our second ask for January is to be equitable and with the resources that are for Beyond the Bell and extracurricular activities across all of our schools. We've noticed with a lot of our meetings with the ECC that they lack the same access to extracurricular activities that the high school does. We want to make sure that each of our students across all of the schools are getting outside of school and Beyond the Bell resources to build community and build connections with kids at their school outside of just their regular classes. We also want to ensure that teachers are getting compensated for sponsoring. We have a couple new high school clubs that we want to draw attention to. The climbing club and the Black Student Union is getting started up right now, and we want to just make sure that the teachers that are donating so much of their time, resources, and energy to these after-school groups and activities are getting fairly compensated for it, because me personally, so many teachers that I work with these extracurriculars, my coaches, my directors, I know how much time and energy they put into these things, and I think it's really important that they are getting compensated for that. So we are just asking to be equitable across schools and aware of the commitment that teachers are putting into our extracurricular activities. Any questions for me?
So there's a little pal board birdie in my house who gave me the heads up about the Shadow Day, which I said I think that's a great idea. Now, I will say, though, for some members of the board, a whole day might be not tenable for them because of their work schedule. But I do like the idea, if you guys, if people are to coming and doing some of that, shadowing again and seeing.
Even a half day would be greatly appreciated. Absolutely.
Does anyone else have any questions? All right, well, thank you. Thanks for sharing. All right, next we have study items. First up is Board Policy Batch 2025A, first read by Dr. Jameson.
Good evening, Board. So tonight for Policy Batch 2025A, we have 4 policies coming before you. One of the policies that we previously had is being rescinded to replace another policy. So the first policy is Policy DFA, Revenues from Investment Use of Surplus Funds. This policy was modified to allow the board flexibility in investment, align more to the school district's context. In addition, it also aligns the policy to the Missouri State Treasurer's model for investment. We are recommending that the board adopt this policy as presented by MSBA when it's brought back in March. Policy DFA-2 is the policy that we are bringing forward to be rescinded to replace policy DFA because of the changes presented by MSBA. Policy DJFA is federal programs and projects. This policy is being modified to align with the recent federal updates. The revisions ensure that the district remains compliant with with OMB regulations and DESI expectations. This policy is also being recommended by administration to be adopted as presented by MSBA. The next policy is CBB. This policy is being modified to align with recent updates to MSBA and changes to the U.S. Code of Federal Regulations. It strengthens protections for employees and also clarifies protections for whistleblowers. The administration is recommending that this policy be adopted as presented by MSBA. And the last policy is IGBCA. This policy is being modified to align with DESI guidance on dispute resolutions and for homeless students, and also state-issued processes under McKinney-Vento. We are recommending that the policy be adopted as modified, replacing McKinney-Vento with unhoused students. These are the policies that will come back for a second review in the month of February and also approval in March. I welcome any questions that you have.
Is there anything special about McKinney-Vento that does it encompass more than unhoused students, or is it only unhoused students?
We thought that unhoused students was more palatable instead of saying McKinney-Vento, and also families may not necessarily know what McKinney-Vento is, but we do have students who are doubled up, may live in shelters, or also in hotels.
I guess what I'm saying is like it is not taking away from those people that would be covered under the policy. It is just a name change.
It's just a name change, correct.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Thank you. All right, next we have the Ameren Eastern Missouri Alliance for Clean Transportation by Dr. Dietrich.
And Noe Zamora.
And Noe Zamora.
Well, thank you for having us this evening. I've asked Noe to join me this evening because I think I mentioned this in my last meeting for 4 years. He has been on my shoulder, in my ear, every time there is anything about electric bus, ask me about it, persuading me. And I have always wanted to do this since I was a middle school principal. But the fact is that electric buses for purchase are much more expensive than their propane and diesel and gas counterparts. But great news, MRH has been awarded $2.14 million of funds in the electric school bus and charging program. It's through Ameren and the Eastern Missouri Alliance for Clean Transportation. So we submitted the grant application about 2.5 months ago. We were the only school district that had a student accompanying letter. So that was one thing that stood out to them. And I asked Noe, I think it was like a Thursday for it, and he's like, I'm really busy. I'll try to get it to you by Sunday. And I think he was a little excited because it was in my box by the end of the night. But this award allows MRH to convert 100% of our daily routes to electric. Buses are expected to be delivered within approximately 6 months, which is very important when you see a timeline here in a minute. Electric buses will be air conditioned, quieter and cleaner for students and drivers. We see this as not only a way of taking care of students, but we also see this as a recruitment tool for bus drivers because there's not a lot of air conditioned buses in the private sector right now. Part of this entire proposal is we would purchase the 4 electric buses. That is at zero cost to us. We would turn in, so we've studied our fleet. We've seen how often that they're broken down. We've seen, how often we're using them. And right now we have a fleet of 8 buses. We really feel like we can make everything work. We're confident we can make everything work with 7 buses. So there will be a reduction in fleet. But as you heard earlier from one of our SSD teachers, this entire plan also commits us to doing a accessibility bus so that they can travel with their peers. The transition improves sustainability, student comfort, operational efficiency, and it also reflects MRH's longstanding leadership in the community and also nationally for sustainability and responsible use. We were one of the first school districts to go to propane buses in the area. we were actually excluded from this grant because we had propane buses. I went to the vice president of Ameren and said, this is not fair. And they actually allowed us to trade in the propane buses because they felt we were ahead of the curve. So the big notes, no capital purchase cost to the district for the buses or the chargers, and the installation of the infrastructure. The only cost we foresee happening, we're in the middle of negotiating a parking lot lease right now. There would probably be some parking lot work, but again, I can't say too much more because we're in active negotiations on that parking lot lease, but we're excited about the partnership. Estimated cost that would be paid out of bond for that parking lot if we need to do some work to it. We've already had people out looking at it, is right around $100,000, but that would be taken out of bond, and that's very small compared to 2.1 million. So projected savings, I worked on this with the bus companies, a lot of analysis of fuel costs between diesel, gas, propane, but basically we're looking at through 2033 and 2034, not including that we're going to own 4 of our buses. Okay, the savings approximately $786,000 through 2034, and at that time we project that in a conservative cost of those buses, what the resale would be in 2034, we took the lowest number on the scale. They would still be worth around $400,000. And the reason why we went through 33 or 33, 34, that is the end of battery life. I'm sorry, the end of battery warranty. Okay, they are seeing much more battery life out of buses as long as they are equipped with diesel heaters. You saw the stories over winter holiday, all the buses breaking down in New York City. Those are electric buses that did not have the diesel heaters. Ameren, as much as they're into electric, actually encouraged us to make sure we had the diesel heaters on there. So this is the timeline. I know this evening we have it just as a study item. This is the timeline I've worked with the bus companies and delivery. If we approve it tonight, we fully expect to have those buses in July, which is when our lease payments are due. So we can turn those buses in, not have a lease payment, pick up our buses. Where timeline B, if we push this off a month, the bus company has told us, you know, everybody turns in their bus orders in February. So they see, I feel like I'm on public comment and the alarm's going off. Cat's like, shut up. The bus,
You're cut off.
we expect bus delivery probably August or September, which we don't feel good about because there's going to be training for our bus drivers. And then I've asked Noe to talk about the bus myths and facts, so I'm going to turn it over to him.
Yeah, so like Dietrich just mentioned earlier, there was a lot of stories going out about in New York City how a lot of these buses were failing just due to the fact that in colder weather the batteries don't work as well, especially when you're trying to make a whole school bus move with a bunch of kids on it. But yeah, Ameren is encouraging us to put these diesel heaters on there just to keep the batteries and the buses warm for all the kids. That way we can keep them running. And as far as I've heard, these buses are going to be able to work for all of our routes in the morning, charge during the day, do all of our routes in the afternoon, which I did the math for my capstone presentation because this is actually what it was. And that actually reduces our emissions by about 55% in just buses, which is pretty impressive. And next myth is that electric bus batteries die quickly. Like most electric cars, they die a lot less quickly than we would really consider, and they're designed for daily route use and long service life. Additionally, this grant also includes a warranty for the battery up to 8 years, so even if the batteries were to decline in how long they last every single day, we still have an incredibly long warranty on these batteries that should be very, very good. Next, as I just discussed, that these electric buses can definitely handle our school routes. We did all the math, and I mean, Dietrich sent me a giant spreadsheet with a whole bunch of different figures, and we should be easily able to handle all of our daily school routes, put all these buses to charge, and the charging lot, I know Dietrich said he can't say a lot, but as far as I know, it's well within the school district, so it should be easily accessible. And again, charging taking too long to be practical is that we can just do it during the school day, which is, I mean, around 8 hours, which should be more than enough for all of these buses to charge. The next myth is that buses cost more over time, which is definitely not true, especially considering the fact that this is entirely grant funded. These buses are definitely going to help us make a lot more money, specifically just by selling our propane buses that we already have and reducing our fleet, as well as reducing a lot of maintenance costs, because, I mean, electric buses, they don't have like transmissions and gears that we still have to keeping clean. We can save hundreds of thousands of dollars by the end of our 8-year battery warranty on just maintenance. And we already know that electric buses work. I mean, aside from the unfortunate snafu in New York, electric buses have been working all across the country and are incredibly good investments. So, questions?
Or celebrations.
Or celebrations, yes.
Are we gonna be buying buses that exist, or are we ordering buses that then have to be completed by the next school year?
We're ordering and they're manufacturing. So that's why it's important to get the order in as soon as possible.
Yeah.
So I had a question. Well, first of all, thank you both for this. I mean, I want to celebrate you first before I get in on the questions, but this is really awesome. And I heard also that, Noe, you got to be surprised during your capstone project with this news, which is really cool. So thank you both for your work on this. One question I have, I do appreciate and am excited about the idea of an accessibility bus. Is that, like, when you say we're going from 7 to 6, so we'll have 4 that we own, are we leasing an accessibility bus, or one of these is?
Yeah, we would be leasing an additional bus. So we have 8 buses currently.
Right.
We're going to be turning in 6.
Okay.
We get 4 electric ones.
Yeah.
And then we're going to be leasing an accessibility bus.
In addition to 2 other buses? So there'll be 7 total?
There'll be 7 total.
Okay.
But that's all figured into those savings.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. So that's, okay. So there's no additional cost there or anything?
Nope,
Okay.
it's
Okay.
all there. If the whole package is accepted, that bus is included in the savings.
And are the diesel heaters included in the buses, or is that something we pay for?
That is something, we'll have to pay for the diesel, right? But the
Okay.
heaters are included.
Okay.
All new camera systems.
Which buses would we be turning in? The propane buses and some of the diesel buses?
So we'll actually be turning, we have no diesel buses at this time.
Okay.
We'll be turning in the 4 propane. The main reason for that is that fleet really serves like our expeditions and our long trips. So the infrastructure just is not there for propane. You know, if we drive to Kansas City and we're coming back, we have to fill up at some point. It is much easier to find a gas station than it is a gas station with propane. So we'll be turning in our 4 propane buses. That'll take care of our electric, and then we'll be turning in 2 gas buses in exchange for 1 gas accessibility bus.
Okay, and then those gas buses will be used for longer distances, or will electric buses be used for longer distances?
Gas will be used for longer distance.
Okay.
Our electric buses have enough charge to do the morning route and afternoon route without recharging.
And I understand electric buses require less maintenance. Are we confident that there are folks who would be able to maintain these buses for us? I don't know if there's special garages necessary.
We'll be
for
under
these.
a maintenance contract
Okay.
with Central States. And then I would also say just the additional thing that plays into it is like safety. I've already made contact with our fire department. The same way when we had propane buses, we made contact, we did training with them because it's different. So we're really trying to think of all those angles.
Thank you.
Is electric cost given here, the cost of charging? Do we have estimates for that?
So if you go to here, the second row is fuel. That's what we expect the savings to be. It's flat across the entire thing because I don't want to project what electrical rates are going to be and what gas rates are. This year would be $10,000 in savings if we were running all of our routes on electric instead of using propane.
So it's a difference between electric costs.
Correct.
Okay, got it. And also a shout out, thanks Noe for writing the letter.
I'm sure the cost of batteries goes down over time, but what's the projected cost when we have to replace the batteries?
Current projection on that is $88,000. But if you think about, 2-3 years ago, I forget what the number was. I think it was like 130, 140. So we are seeing the price of those come down. In 33, 34, based on what we're seeing, those costs should continue to come down. But if anything goes wrong with that battery in 33, 34, it's still battery comes in. So.
And that's 88 total or 88 per bus?
Per bus.
Is there some kind of contingency plan in case somebody forgets to charge a bus? No, I'm serious.
Yeah, no, great question. That's why we have 3 gas buses sitting there.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's also a contingency in the chargers. So we have 4 buses, we have 4 chargers, but each charger has 2 outlets on it. So if one charger goes down on us, we can take 2 buses and put them on the same charger. So we did think of, actually, Ameren insisted on the redundancy. They were really good partners and really thought through this.
I would like to move, because of the timeline, I don't really want to be in a position where you have to be like, oh gosh, are we gonna have buses or not? So I would like to make a motion to move this to action items so that we can vote on it tonight and give you as much time as possible, since they do indeed have to be manufactured, it sounds like.
Much
I
appreciated.
second.
Okay. Sorry, did anyone have any other questions as well? Okay. All those in favor of moving it to action items?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Any other questions for Dr. Dietrich or Noe? No? All right, thank you, guys.
Much appreciated, thank you.
Okay. Next up, we have bus driver salary schedule update by Dr. Ambrose Phillips.
Good evening, members of the board, community. I am here to bring forward the bus driver salary schedule update. I was asked to bring this item forward. Dr. McGee is going to pull up the salary schedule for me because he's such a fantastic partner. So I'm coming forward because we, of course, know starting off in the school year, we had some challenges with transportation. We had a couple of just long wait times, so a couple of missed stops, and just experiencing some snafus here and there. And so one of the challenges is because, we have had a reduction in terms of the drivers that we have been able to keep on staff here at MRH. And so because of the recruitment and retention challenges in terms of maintaining our own drivers, we've been looking at comparisons with other not only local neighboring districts, but private companies, and we are bringing forth this salary schedule request to move the driver's salary schedule to a starting salary of $24 an hour. We know, of course, transportation is a vital part of how we do school and making sure that individuals have equitable access to education. And so I'm bringing this request forward. You can see how the salary schedule breaks down based upon the steps. But that the new number, the starting salary would start at $24 an hour as opposed to $20.75. What questions might I be able to answer for you?
How many hours does a bus driver typically work in a day?
Our bus drivers, in the past, they have been split positions, shared positions, where they were part-time bus drivers and part-time with some other positions. So it might be custodian, it might be a courier. Now it's just most of our drivers that we have are full-time bus drivers. So it's about 37 to 40 hours per week, but they often take on additional routes. And so because of the number of drivers that we have in our district, they take on extracurricular, they do a lot of our school routes when our students have not only field trips, but when they have sporting events or competitions. And so an excess of, like, I don't know the exact figure, but they're always in overtime because there's always opportunities where kids need to be transported, and we only have a small number of positions available where people can do that work, or individuals employed in those positions where that work can be done through those people.
Gotcha.
So I can bring that actual number back to you, but like, I would say the full time is going to be about 40 hours a week, but they often go over because they're just more trips that we have that we need them to transport our students for.
And then do we pay time and a half when it's overtime?
Yes, if they're over 40 hours.
Anyone else? No?
Dr. Dietrich, do you know that number? Ever.
Several months.
Yeah, it's, yeah.
They're really holding that transportation together.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next up we have administrative communications. First is program evaluation, library media resources by Dr. McGee.
I'm up here for the next three, so I'm bringing some resources, and friends, come on over. All right, I've got some amazing people here to help us with our library program eval. If you don't know them, I'll have them introduce themselves real quickly.
Hello, I'm Emily Baker. I'm at the middle school and high school.
I'm Felicia Heinz-Tapa. I'm at the ECC.
And I'm Amanda Muir. I'm at the elementary school.
We, in the last couple of years, have started sort of meeting quarterly as a library program and thinking of ourselves more of a continuum as opposed to isolated individual schools that run our own individual small businesses, which is really how we should be thinking about the library, because there are lots of products that go in and out of that office and that room. So we set some really great program goals for us to create this concept of a program, and we're working towards that, and we've got a lot of evidence and artifacts. We also noticed that in the last couple of years, we've had some new employees that have revitalized our library program by running some really great reports and recognizing that, whoa, we need to do and focus some efforts in certain areas. So we've seen some new items come to you to be surplus, and new items coming in that we have budgeted. Overall, you can see some of the metrics that we've put together over the last couple of years and really making some strides along the way, and we continue to run these reports and many other to make sure that each year our program improves. We're hoping to continue to run this year over year and inventory all of our libraries to ensure our collection is the most accurate and available for kids. We want to make sure that we continue this concept of a commitment as a program and make sure our guidelines of all the things we're doing within all of our separate entities align. And then also we want to commit to the diversity, equity, inclusion that we agree is a core principle of our organization, and ensure that our libraries reflect the values and the faces and the backgrounds of our kids as we walk through, as they walk through our doorways. Are there any questions that the team and I may answer for you? Wonderful. Thanks all. Give them a round of applause. They're awesome. Look at that. You guys are awesome. Seriously, thank you. All right, now
Next
go
up
home.
again.
Thank you.
Now we're on to curriculum.
We're on to curriculum. Great. All right. The curriculum program evaluation in the last couple of years has really undergone a amazing improvements and overhaul. We had a lot of goals that we set for ourselves in the curriculum department a number of years ago when we did this last evaluation. We now have a beautiful website that houses curriculum documents for our families that has never existed before, which is really exciting. And we have a handbook that I'm not yet happy with, so I gave it an in progress because I really want something that is consistent and repeatable year over year so we can really dig into the work as we do these focus of different curriculum areas. we established and carried out a resource adoption process. We implemented reading success plans and recognizing through our management oversight team this commitment to personalized competency-based learning. So overall, we've been receiving good feedback on the work that we have completed. We would still like to make improvements. I feel like the math and the literacy was good, like the process was good but not great. The science process that we're in the middle of, I am the most excited about. We have the most participation, K-12, and it has really been phenomenal. In fact, next year in the fall, we're not done yet, so I don't want to tell you all the stories, but we're really excited to bring some really innovative ideas for the high school science program. So I don't want to give it away, but I'm really excited about the work that the high school team has been putting together. So we've got a couple other goals that we want to accomplish in the curriculum department you see there. Are there any questions that I can answer for you?
I think I had one. So
Yeah.
I tried, I didn't get a chance to kind of look through everything, but
Sure.
my question is sort of, one, and maybe this could also be my ignorance of like how you define everything, but I know we had the competency-based education grant, and so is that something like competency-based education, is that something that would be built into like curriculum development and all that? Like, is that featured in here, or will it be, or how does that work?
Yeah, so when we think about competency-based education, the competency is centered on the standards.
Okay.
So when we're doing curriculum work, we're doing competency-based education work. It is, what is this course about? How will I know if a kid has mastered it?
Okay.
And how do I award that credit for that work? And then recognizing that if I've assessed them at the beginning of a unit and they already know it, how can I accelerate their learning and move them past it? So all of that is curriculum work and is exactly tied to that.
Okay.
So really what's at the core of competency-based education is when I'm in first grade and I'm in math, what are the things I'm going to learn? And what does it look like when a kid actually masters it? That's a great question. That's fantastic. Thank you for asking that.
And then I had one more was like, you know, like middle and high school are sort of like a little different. Like a lot of these seem like, you know, sort of broad, like how do we develop a math curriculum or whatever. But like in terms of say at the middle school or in the high school, a teacher has an idea for a class. Like, is that in this process or is that like a separate process? That would
It will fall within, and that's exactly why we're doing it in the cycle. So on my first couple of years being here, we did not have a cycle on when we could look at that regularly. So a lot of times those instances of, I want to start a new class, came out of nowhere.
Okay.
And what we're trying to do is build that in with when we're looking at course requests for the high school, when we're looking at industry and state of St. Louis workforce. All of that data is a part of our curriculum process when we're looking at how are students performing and what is the industry need, if you will, in the world.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great.
So then how are teachers empowered to sort of take that idea? Do they come with the idea, or is it more the data that then drives the discussion that plants the seed for a new course? You know, I'm in the high school environment. My head's there a lot, having the students there. So, like, how does that look?
Yeah, it's a both and. So, for example, right now, you know, the K-8 teachers were here. We're in a workshop after school in our science curriculum meeting, and they were doing one set of activities. And me and the high school were off in the conference room, and what we were focusing on is what is our current progression? What are we seeing in our neighboring districts on their progressions and some of the electives that they're offering? And then what are we seeing from the World Economic Forum or the State of St. Louis workforce in regards to what's out there? Oftentimes, I taught science myself. I get focused on, well, this is the stuff that I need to teach, and I need to make sure that students grasp and understand. I'm not often taking time to see what the global environment is working on. So a lot of times it is us having those conversations and trying to find opportunities for us to innovate.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you. Number 2 done.
Number 2 done.
And now we're on to AI use plan.
There you go. All right, I'm representing Dr. Irwin tonight. I'm not as talented or as tall, but I will do the best that I can here. what we have done from draft 1 to draft 2 is bring you edits and changes from the first time you looked at it. So we've clarified some governance pieces, we've corrected and tightened policy references, defined a little better how AI tools are approved, maintained, and communicated. We strengthened some guidance, and we tried to go through and highlight them in yellow, just like you would receive in your policy updates and changes, so that way you could easily identify things that were changed from the previous document to this document. What questions might I answer or write down to ask Dr. Irwin for clarification? Yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to reiterate the question that was already asked before the meeting.
Thank you.
That there will be some consideration of defining the grievance process for a student who disagrees with a teacher's assessment of use of AI and how, because, it's an ever-evolving space.
Yes, ma'am.
And so it is a place where we need to have some guardrails in place so that we recognize that there may be a need to step back and consider both sides of the situation in an ever-evolving technologic world.
Mm-hmm. Proof. I received a reply from a colleague that said, your email came up as AI generated. And I was like, I just wrote you an email. So to your point, that sometimes things get flagged that were created by a human, that I don't think I'm part AI, but I might be, So yes, I agree with you and hear your concerns. Yes, sir.
There are problems on both ends. It's also like it's 20% AI, and then what's the threshold?
What's the threshold? Yeah.
Have you considered anything about the budgetary cost of either evaluating tools or the training that is proposed in this draft?
Yeah, there's no way to implement this without an additional cost, right? Because when you adopt a platform, not only are you going to have to license it, you're going to have to block other things, and we're going to have to train and support people on it. So yeah, there's no way to get through this without putting some financial considerations behind it. And both on the detection end, even though Zero GPT has some free features, but we're also seeing that teachers are using No Red Ink and the tools that are available in there that we already pay for and is already a platform that we use.
Is there any other sort of IT-based training that is being done at the high school that is comprehensive like this, where you're going to touch all students and all faculty?
Not yet, not since we've rolled out Canvas. Like Canvas was really our first time where we had large-scale training like that. We definitely see that this is going to have to be delivered sort of asynchronously as well as synchronously. Like there's really no way to deliver it without having both things happen. There's just not enough people to do it. But just received a really great course that Project Lead the Way, which is a partner that we readily use, called Principles of AI. And it is a course that is now available that we could potentially add that would be a choice for students to dive in and learn more.
We have a lot of partnerships with the universities around here. Do we know what systems they were using?
Not off the top of my head, no. But most, like my wife works at WashU, and they have developed their own GPT that is FERPA and medical and HIPAA compliant. So they have their own IT department that have skills to be able to make things like that happen.
I was thinking more along the lines of unit detection software, like when professors are grading papers.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been doing it for years.
Right. I don't know of any, but that's a great challenge for me to go out and seek that out.
I noticed one of the changes seemed to be, but I wanted to get confirmation that in the investigation process now, it looks like the teacher just sort of like raises the issue, but if after discussion with the student, they still are suspicious, like it goes to a building administrator who makes the determination. Is that correct in how it's structured now? So you have the same which I think there's a benefit. You have the same person making the decision in all cases. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's my understanding.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that seems to make sense instead of having individual teachers who may have different, you can establish a better standard.
Right.
Of what might be a violation or not.
Yeah.
Okay. Which then goes, and then Loretta, you're saying at that point, after that determination's made, like understanding what the process is for the student, is that what you were getting at?
To be able to appeal, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and the features and tools that are available, for example, within Google Docs with revision history is really the best tool. You know, our English teachers do really great job at the high school, pulling kids back, having small group conversations, watching their writing and coaching them along the way. So I don't necessarily see this as an issue with our English department. I do see, like, for example, a quiz or a form or something like that, where we've got maybe a short answer response, and we really can't see how that was entered. I feel like that might be a scenario where we see, to your point, this seems out of your vernacular. As a kid, you've never used words like this before, and all of a sudden you've elevated to this script, if you will. So I think that those are the times where you start keying into some of those situations. I think we'll see, you know, a draft 3 and a draft 4 and a draft 5, especially after the board settles on a policy EHBD, and then we'll continue to refine this as moving forward, and we have a little better guidance.
So is that the next step? We need to look at the policy and then,
Yeah,
okay.
and then this will tweak.
Okay. All right.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. And next up, we have finance. I'd like to welcome Ms. Hunter, our new director of finance. And right into it, you get to do December financial statements.
Thank you. Thank you. Again, my name is Nichelle Hunter, Director of Business and Finance, 9 days new. But we want to take a look at the December 25 items of interest. And as we note here with the revenue, we did receive, collect $10 million, a little bit over $10 million in the month of December, or excuse me, year-to-date for December. Where with our local revenue, it was a bit lower in comparison to 2025, and that is because our real estate tax revenue had not come in by this time, but we did receive those funds in January. So that will be on next month's for next month's board meeting. Our county revenue was decreased along with our state revenue, and for the county, it's because there were fewer fines and forfeiture revenue that we received. And for state revenue, excuse me, but that was higher than the previous year by 10%. As far as our other revenues, we collected lower from the prior year, and that is due to negative collections showing due to recorded expenses for the sprinkler system. So we expect to recoup that through the insurance recovery. As far as our expenditures are concerned, we did expend year-to-date almost $13 million with an increase in our supplies, and that is mainly due to us purchasing items earlier than the year than in later. Additionally, we did a curriculum adoption in our elementary, ECC, and middle schools, and that totaled roughly $232,000. Our salaries and benefits continue to make up 77% of our budget, and so we spent almost $10 million there. And our capital outlay expenses are less than they were last year. We do also note that our purchase services expenditures are lower than the previous year, so we continue to monitor all of these to ensure, one, that we're recouping all of the revenue that we should, and in addition, keeping an eye on the expenditures so that we can ensure that we are expending those in the way that the board sees fit. Are there any questions as far as our revenue and expenditures for the month of December? Awesome, that's amazing.
Next up, we're on the budget amendment.
So we are looking to get approved a budget amendment number 2 which takes into account the fact that when the budget was originally built, we did not know specifically what our senior tax revenue decrease would be. And during the first amendment, we estimated that it would be a $500,000 decrease from, we anticipated it being that much. But by the time that this was finalized, and I want to say in November, that number decreased to $313,000. So we added back into the budget $186,000 for that piece. Now, we did have some other movements with our revenue budgets. We do anticipate seeing a decrease in Discover Club revenue, so we made that adjustment now. And additionally, there is a decrease coming from the preschool income based on just a miscalculation of what that revenue was going to be when the budget was originally created. The other things to note is there are some movements within our salaries and benefits just to correct where they're sitting. Basically, we had some budget sitting in a certified object code when it should have been in a non-certified. So the goal is just to clean that up to ensure that our expenditures are posting to where they should be properly. We do anticipate seeing an increase of the fund balance based on these adjustments. And one of the things that we also will do is look at, but know that there was from Budget Amendment 1, we anticipated having a negative fund balance for our special fund, our teachers fund, and we're going to do a correction to right-size that with this budget amendment. So with that, are there any questions?
Any questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next up we have board communications discussions, and we have calendar of events, and I've got a list for you all. All right, so upcoming events. Monday, January 19th, no school in celebration of Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. So parents, your children will be with you. Tuesday, January 20th, we have a community conversation with our administration. The topic is District Financial Outlook. It is held virtually this time, and it starts at 6:30, but it will be recorded. So if you cannot watch it live, you can always watch it later on the old YouTube channel. And then Tuesday, January 20th, we also have from 4 to 8 a new event, the Braggin' Rights Classic between MRH and Brentwood, which is hosted by and sponsored by Community America Credit Union. Both the boys and girls varsity teams will be playing Brentwood. Wednesday, January 21st is Conics Night at the high school from 5 to 7:30, where the pre-calculus students will showcase their amazing designs that they drew doing equations, and like thousands of them in some cases. So. And then Saturday, January 24th is the 3rd annual Collaborative Diversity Hiring Event, which this year will be held from 8 to noon at Webster Groves High School. And then Friday, January 30th at the elementary school is a pancake movie night from 5:30 to 8 p.m. Does anyone else have anything to add?
February 21st at Summer Camp Resource Fair.
Okay.
At Heights.
Okay.
It's our 4th annual one. It's co-sponsored with Brentwood, Clayton, and Ladue.
Awesome. February 21st.
February 21st at the Heights.
At the Heights. Okay. And we'll make sure to mention that again next month, but that's a good heads up. All right. Next, committee reports. Did anybody have any committees since last time?
Yep.
Okay.
The Board of Health met on the 15th of December. We reviewed, actually kind of ironically, what we kind of did in the board meeting in December with that group. Good discussion was had around, I had notes, climate and culture and our strategic plan update. So. Yep.
Okay. Anyone else?
Joe's Place had a Christmas get-together at Sabroso. And the only thing that's really pressing with Joe's Place is they're rewriting the bylaws.
And interviewing host family.
Oh, yeah, they're looking at developing an interview process, yeah. They haven't really put out a advertisement yet.
I just wanted to highlight, I had the honor of sitting in a public speaking class for their final, along with many people in this room, right before the break. And I just want to celebrate those students because it's not only difficult to get up and public speak, but they advocated for changes within our school and within our district in front of the people who make the decisions and implement them, including critiquing some of the decisions we've made, which I appreciate. So I just want to celebrate everyone in that class. They did an awesome job. They shared things about, you know, internet. They shared things about curriculum, lunch, a vending machine. That was a good one. You know, but they range, and it was. I just want to celebrate them and give them a shout out for that. So.
Oh, that reminds me, isn't there some speech and debate thing this weekend?
Yes, that's another event. Oh my gosh.
Oh my
that's a
gosh.
big one. Oh, I'm in trouble. I'm sorry. there is the third annual, I think, Blue Devil Invitational this weekend. Where actually I think it's students from all over the state. I think there is a huge group of people coming to showcase the high schoolers coming to showcase their speech and debate talents.
28 schools.
28 schools.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for that one, guys. It's not on the calendar though, I don't think.
On the district-wide?
Yeah, so anyway, yeah, that's not an excuse, I know about it, because I'm going. But,
One other event I know that Miss Elam has been promoting is on the 27th of January. We have 4 elementary school students who will be performing as part of the all professional development for music teachers across the state. So there's an all-state select choir, about 130 students from across the state. And props to Dr. Israel for, I think, consistently supporting students to be selected for this opportunity. So we have 4 students participating this year.
Our committee is for our community, so trying to connect community resources to the school. So tying into that, we're going to be hosting a parent panel during parent-teacher conferences, February 12th, so it's not 2 separate meetings while parents are already there. We'll have some parents sharing their experiences with college visits, and then we'll also have a Q&A. So there'll be a little bit of formal presentation and also opportunity for informal discussion.
anyone else? All right. Let's see, sorry. Next up, we have school board election update, but I think, let's see, I mean, the filing period is closed. Yes. And we have 5 candidates that have currently entered their names to run for school board. So we look forward to, I think the election is April 7th.
Is the PAL board doing another?
I imagine they will be, I haven't heard.
They are, they're planning for it now.
Okay, so that, just for the benefit of the public, the last couple of years, the PAL board has hosted an event where they invite all the school board candidates to come, and they ask a series of questions that you will answer on the spot. So it's a great event, and it's great to get the kids involved and asking the questions. So, all right. Next, we have board governance self-evaluation. I think on this item, we had filled out a survey a couple months ago, and this was the time we wanted to come back, gives people some time to develop at least 1 or 2 goals for the board to work on for the next year. And so I will open the floor for suggestions.
I'm going to start actually with a little shout out, but then it explains why I had a thing to consider. We had the State of the District this weekend. It was an open house format so that we could interact directly with community members and stakeholders that came. I loved it because it was nice to just, the informalness of it was nice to be a little more relaxed. And so I would be interested in looking for opportunities to interact with stakeholders. You know, not everyone's a public comment podium type of person, and so it's nice to get that, and also maybe explore if there are better ways for us to use our surveys that are ways for the board to get broad comments. We get standardized information, but is there a way to also get some comment field information, free text, that might give us more context to help us understand why we may see shifts in our data, either in a positive or negative direction? It might give us more information about where that's coming from.
Thank you, Loretta. Anyone else have any suggested goals?
Shout out at once. No, right? No, I mean, I think I'd mentioned this when we had introduced this a couple months ago, and I was leading the meeting. You know, I think we still could use our, you know, revamping our norms and protocols, of course. I think that should be a highlight. And I too agree, Loretta. I like the kind of community forum, and so I think maybe more town hall-ish type scenarios would be a nice thing to think about too, or at least, you know, once or twice a year.
Anyone else? I like both those ideas. With Loretta, I also like that. It's always nice to get a chance to talk to people informally and to hear their feedback. And I just, you know, with a few people, like I was able to talk with, had some great questions and things to like think about that I hadn't really thought about before. So I would be in favor of that. I do also like the idea of creating better communication norms. And especially beginning that work now as we head into election where we will have potentially new board members, having it in a space too where, you know, when they come on, they can also then participate and we can finalize it fairly quickly. So I like that idea too. So. Does anyone have opposition to these goals? No? All right. Is everyone in favor? We're all okay? Sold. All right. So I guess, you know, next steps for that, since, you know, we can set them, and then, you know, if we don't set a next step, then there, but maybe perhaps people could get to think about some ideas for the town hall type thing. Are there certain topics you as a board member would be interested in hearing from the public about, or just different ideas like that? And then I think, we could probably all go through, it probably would maybe benefit us all to go back and sort of look at where we left that document, and that meeting was recorded. We could watch it and see what our former selves commented on it, and if we're still, you know, if we have any suggested changes. So that seems like, does that seem like a good next step for everybody?
Can you repeat what the two goals are so I can capture them?
Yeah. One would be sort of revamping that norms and protocols document. We never finalized that. And then the other would be creating, you know, more sort of town hall type opportunities, or opportunities to talk informally with the public and get feedback and information.
And speaking as someone who won't be involved in implementing your goals,
Don't make it hard.
I might recommend from experience an opportunity for the board to just kind of revisit the communications like overview for themselves. I think a few years ago we got very ambitious and added several things to the calendar. And I think in the context of both, you know, the addition of things like the administrator, quarterly meetings and things like that, how those fit in. I think it's a great idea to think about what sort of two-way communication with community is appropriate now, but you may just look at it in the context of not just adding things, but potentially removing things that are stale now or things like that.
That's a good idea. Very good idea. Okay, does anyone else have any thoughts? Nope. All right. All right, now we are on to action items. Sorry, let me pull my computer back up. All right, may I get a motion to approve preschool tuition rates?
Motion to approve preschool tuition rates as stated.
Second.
Okay, any discussion or questions? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, may I get a motion on Discover Club tuition rates?
Motion to approve Discover Club tuition rates as presented.
Second.
Okay, any discussion or questions?
And so the increase, we have less enrolling? You said that there was a change in Discover Club that was prompting this? Did you say there was a change in Discover Club?
That was the change to this year's budget.
Oh, okay, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there does, you have a question, Trent?
Yeah, so there's a recommendation of increasing by 10%. Is that because we predict a lower enrollment and we have the same costs? I look back in my notes, I don't see any, it may have been asked before, I don't remember.
So we can bring that information back, but we did discuss the enrollment and also the increased costs for students, similar to the conversation that was had as it relates to our funding for pre-K, and we're coming in at a deficit. So the funds and the increase is to ensure that we can at least break even from that standpoint. But we have seen a decrease in the number of students participating.
And I think the disconnect is it looks like the data, like it, for the enrollment, it stops this year.
It looks like you're
But
going to
then
turn a
the-
profit
but then
this
the
year.
financial
and then
data
next year, you're raising it 10%. That's what's confusing for me.
Goes beyond, so are you also, you're predicting a lower enrollment next year too?
Yes.
Is that was just sort of, I think, the missing connection. All right.
Okay.
Any other questions? No? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Next, we have making a motion to approve board policy batch 2025D.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion or questions? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Next, we are on board, making a motion on board policy batch 2025D-JECA.
Motion to approve board policy batch 2025B JECA as presented.
Second?
Madam President, I believe that motion is to decline the revisions.
That's what's written.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, yep, so, okay.
I move to decline policy board batch 2025B JECA as the declination is presented.
Second, and thank you, Ms. Norton, for that. Okay, all those,
Wait, I just.
any discussion? Oh,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, could you just clarify what exactly we are voting not to include?
Yeah,
This is about the, whether district employees and contractors can enroll their children in the district, right? That's the one we're on, right?
Yes.
And
We
so
are not
were we
adopting.
not accepting what's currently lined out, or anyway, if we could just,
We're
you
not
could just explain it a little bit more.
Yeah, we're just not accepting the policy altogether because it's for JCA-2. If you look at the quick reference, it says do not adopt. And it basically outlines that non-residential students may enroll tuition-free if their parents or guardians are actually providing services, so they could be contracted services. But one of the things that we noted is that sometimes someone can be a contracted service provider for a week or a day, and we are giving them an opportunity to actually enroll. So that's why we indicated not to adopt that particular policy.
So this was an MSBA policy
It is.
recommendation?
They recommended,
not
and it was to allow contract employees to enroll their
Correct.
children, which, to
But-
your
but
point,
now, the wording here is that they have to have been a contract, they have to provide services for at least 60 calendar days prior to enrollment. So
We're just saying, don't have this policy as part of our
Yeah,
books.
we do not want contractors to be able to enroll their children tuition free, because the idea is you could be even if you're for 60 days, well, what if you finish after 30 days?
Okay, but we currently have the policies in place as it's currently here. I mean, this is our existing policy. So are we keeping what's lined out then if we're not accepting the changes? Or are we essentially eliminating the entire policy?
So
I think that's my confusion.
Oh, I see.
Is it the whole policy? Or are we not accepting the MSBA's proposed change, which is the green highlighted section? And we're reverting back to the purple section?
Yes,
Sorry, if you could just clarify, that's all.
Yes, so if you look at the policy, it has the green language being
Yes.
added, and so we're not accepting that portion of the policy, which is the addition of the contracted workers.
So better put, I think, is it's a motion to decline the MSBA's recommended changes to the policy.
Okay.
So we'll rewind again.
But hold on a second, so why do we have to vote on something that we've never had? Why do we have to decline something we've never had?
Because it's a new policy that's actually,
We have this policy in our hands.
Yes, yeah.
But this is a part of the batch that MSBA presented. So
Right.
we're acting so that we can let MSBA know that we are
Oh, okay, so
not
this is a
accepting
message
this
to MSBA.
recommendation for
Okay.
this policy.
I mean, theoretically, we probably could have pulled them all out of the batch and voted on them separately, which this was probably a time-saving technique, which did not, we
No,
know for next time.
Right, so we're,
Yeah,
okay.
got it.
So does that mean that so I think I understand it now. So that means we're not accepting the green highlighted changes. Are we continuing to keep then what is that, rose color?
Policy,
we're
yeah.
keeping the policy.
We have shown publicly on our website would remain our policy if you decline these revisions.
Got it. And so what's currently lined out actually remains? Okay, got it now. Thanks.
And that one's tricky, just as a note, we do try to bring all of the policies so that the board can see them and not omit any.
Think you'll call the question.
Okay, so just to be clear, I think the motion we're voting on is to decline MSBA's revisions to the policy. All right. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Oops, I gotta go back to my screen. And then may I get a motion on fiscal year 26 budget amendment 2?
I move to approve budget amendment 2 as presented.
Okay, any discussion or questions? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Oh gosh, and Miss Norton works quick. She already put those new ones in there. Ooh. All right, don't look at my paper. All right, may I get a motion on the warrant list, please?
Oh, I can't, I'm not gonna.
Thank you, Josh.
Second.
Any questions?
Yeah, I have a question. So, as I understand it, we approve the warrant list and then the checks are paid. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So now I received a check that we're about to approve. I received it a month ago that we're about to approve tonight. So how did that work? Where I got the check before we approved the warrant list?
Is that something I can come back to you, because it should.
Oh, sure, yes. That's fine. I was surprised. I thought, oh, I must have missed it. I must have been listed in the December one. I was at the meeting late last month, so I just assumed my name was in there and it was approved that way, and I had missed it because I got the check. This is the reimbursement for the MSBA conference travel.
I can follow up with the finance department.
Okay, yeah, because that means checks were issued prior to the warrant list approval. And I don't know if it affected anything else or if it was just me, but.
Any other question or discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Ryan,
Yeah,
abstaining.
I know.
Yeah, I'm abstaining,
Yeah.
thanks.
There it is.
All right, and number 7, may I get a motion on the Ameren Eastern Missouri Alliance for Clean Transportation Grant?
Motion to approve the buses.
Second.
The grant contract for the buses. Yeah.
Second.
Any discussion or questions? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, may I get a motion to go into executive session, please?
I move to enter executive session in accordance with section 610.021 subsections 1, 3, 5, 8, 9, 13, and section 610.022 of the revised statutes of Missouri on January 15th, 2026 for the following specific reasons. Identify all student matters, legal matters, and personnel matters.
Yes, the roll call vote.